This was the last week working with the torso and also the end of the curriculum's second term. It was a busy week, which started with me going through the abs assignment. There were quite a few photos to study and draw, and although I did not find the shading method used by Proco immediately obvious, I did my best to get the abs and the gestures out. After that, it was time for the obliques. This time, however, the videos about the anatomy and the form of the obliques did not include reference photos for the assignment. So I copied the drawings from the lessons and followed the example video as usual, first trying to capture the photo by myself and then redrawing the photo following Proco's demo. As there were still several videos from the torso unit to go through, I moved on to the video about shading the torso. I knew I still had to learn about properly shading the torso, so I did not spend a long time on my attempt, but I tried to capture what was most noticeable. I am glad my attempt wasn't terrible. Copying Proco's drawing was more challenging and very time-consuming, but it surely is nice to see it now that it's done. After that, it was time for the shoulder muscles. I took a lot of notes because it makes it easier for me to follow with the lesson. Again, there were no assignment photos for this lesson, so I took my time to copy all sorts of drawings that showed up on Proco's videos. I knew I needed to practice, but I wasn't entirely sure about just grabbing a random photo and not having a way to correct myself. Even if Proco's critique videos don't directly address my mistakes or my drawings, I always learned something with them. But without the reference photos, this is harder. I decided then to go to Michael Hampton's book and draw with it as part of the exercise. It was encouraging to see that all the colorful muscles that made no sense to me when I started had been transformed to me. I could look at the pecs and not just see a pink color, but understand the overlapping muscle fibers because I knew where they were supposed to attach even without seeing them. This beautiful book makes a lot more sense after Proco's excellent lessons break down form and function and show movement so clearly. I started working then with pecs, abs, obliques, the serratus. I thought it was good to see how a different author would approach things and exercise, but I ended up never getting to the shoulder. As the week proceeded, I had to move on to the lower back. Luckily, the assignment photos were also back. Proco has been incredibly generous with this course, and with the photos, it was much easier for me to proceed with the assignment. I started with a photo from Proco's demo video and worked on my drawing. I then proceeded to follow Proco's demo and rework the drawing. I am glad my gesture was okay and some muscles were well indicated, but it's surely much nicer to see a drawing with Proco's breakdown. I worked on the assignment, watched the critique video. I did not find anything obviously terrible for my studies, but I'm still not super confident about my backs either. At this point, I was so pressed for time that I had to move to the upper back. Again, lots of notes, and I also copied all of the drawings that appeared on the video, trying to learn as much as I could. Luckily, again, there were assignment photos, so I went with them. I started with the first photo, but then changed the order to find the example video to work with it before attacking the other pictures, which was probably good as Proco's drawing wasn't as much about just what was seen, but a lot more focused on the anatomy study. I followed then the pictures in order, and in this case, later corrected a point about the trapezius from the critique video. I also had to draw another correction from the critique as my drawing was rather stiff and there was a gesture adjustment to be done, although this seems to be a little too inclined compared to the reference photo. From there, I moved to the neck. I followed the video lecture, but I did not really have time to work very much with the exercises. Again, there were no reference photos for the assignment, but most importantly, it was the end of the week and I just had no more time. This torso unit was rather dense, but it was also gratifying to see the progress from such hard work. Next week will be the beginning of term 3, and I will be coming back with some perspective work. This is it for now. Thank you very much for watching. Bye.